Another way to look at the biodiversity of Illinois is to examine our major habitat types: prairie, forest, and wetland. Prairies are communities in which the landscape is dominated by non-woody plants, mainly grasses. The prairie in Illinois is tallgrass prairie and can be divided into 6 types: black soil prairie, sand prairie, hill prairie, gravel prairie, dolomite prairie, and shrub prairie. Prairies are complex ecosystems in which plants, grazing mammals, burrowing animals, insects, fire, and climate interact in balance. The prairie habitat is the most diverse in Illinois and includes more than 800 species of plants. Prairies have hot summers and cold winters and are often subject to drought. Fires are a regular feature of prairie lands. Historically, fire probably occurred often enough to burn every Illinois prairie at least once every 1 to 5 years. Without fires, prairies quickly develop into forests. Illinois had an estimated 21.6 million acres of prairie in 1820. That equates to about 61% of the land in the state. All but 9 Illinois counties contained some prairie habitat. By 1900, most of the prairies had been converted to agricultural or urban uses. Illinois prairies currently cover about 6,100 acres and are small, with most less than 10 acres in size. Loss of prairie habitat and fragmentation of the remaining prairies has caused a loss in the natural biodiversity that prairies contain. The small populations of prairie organisms that exist in Illinois today are the types that tend to lose genetic diversity over time. With small numbers, the populations tend to inbreed. This process can result in organisms no longer capable of successful reproduction. Approximately 75% of the wildlife habitat in Illinois is found within forests. More than half of the native plant species and more than half of the threatened and endangered species in Illinois are forest residents. Forest types in Illinois include bottomland forest, also a type of wetland, upland deciduous forests, areas which are not subject to flooding and containing trees that lose their leaves in the fall. This type of forest is found in every county and is the most common forest type in Illinois. Coniferous forest with cone-bearing evergreen trees, and southern Illinois lowland forest with woody plants more than 20 feet tall that are adapted to living in water. Illinois had an estimated 13.8 million acres of forests in 1820. Today, forests cover about 4.3 million acres, approximately 1/3 of the original acreage. Only about 11,600 acres of the original forest remains untouched. Many native species have been lost from the reduction of forest habitat and fragmentation of the remaining forests. Wetlands are transitional areas between land and water where the groundwater table is at or near the surface or where the land is covered by shallow water. Wetlands are important to ecological and environmental balance. They help control the flooding of rivers and streams. They clean polluted water by acting as a filter, allowing sediments, nutrients, and pesticides to settle out of the water. Thousands of species of organisms depend on wetlands and water-related habitats. From fish, frogs, and turtles to deer, river otters, beavers, bald eagles, and waterfowl, wetlands provide important breeding, nesting, and feeding areas. Wetlands are the habitat for many endangered and threatened species.